Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is March 5th, 2021, and this is episode 221. We're going to take a look at Ian Fleming's James Bond, a Agent of Spectre. Okay, this is a new arc, obviously, and it's 001 issue from Dynamite at a whopping $3.99. It's a normal size comic. Basically, a quick look at the cover here. We've got, presumably, James Bond standing over the corpse right in front of the Capitol building. This does not happen in the comic at all. In fact, I don't believe they make even to Washington, D.C. So maybe something in the future, I don't know. But right now, this didn't happen. Now, there was a number of variant covers on this, and they almost all look exactly the same. Some don't have the titles in it. Some are in black and white, so there's no red in it. Some, I guess, are signed, but you have a selection of covers if you do like this one. Now, this is a step up from the last arc. I only read one issue from the last arc, and it was with Vita Ayala and Danny Lore doing the writing on it, and it just was not a compelling issue. So I did not continue on with that. This writer is Christos Gage, I guess. The artist is Luca Casalancaida. Wow, that's a mouthful. And the colors are by Heather Moore. Letters by Simon Boland. And the cover was done by Steve Epting. So let's take a look at that cover again, because that's pretty much the only image available for this comic, but just in different variations of this image. Okay, the story starts out with Mr. Bond chasing another agent named Winstone. It's not really clear if he's working for Spectre or if he's going to meet up with them and create some deal, but they're on actually a ferry boat. It's not really shown here as much. And Winstone's trying to get away. He's jumping down to a lower deck, and he loses his briefcase, which is full of secret documents. James picks it up and follows him into the car compartment where all the vehicles are being stored, only to find Winstone dousing a vehicle in gasoline. Now, I'm not sure where he got the can of gasoline. I wouldn't think you'd have something like that laying around on a ferry boat next to autos, but apparently it was in there somehow. And so James gives up his weapon. He hands the case over, but in the meantime, he saw some gas was splashed on the sleeve of Winstone. He's able to light Mr. Winstone on fire and then somehow grab him. He's very strong. I just want to say that James Bond here looks like kind of a cross between Sean Connery and Roger Moore, as the two kind of blended together here. He pulls him across the whole deck and then has him jump into the water. Winstone's got his gun still. With the fire extinguished, he takes a shot at him and the bullet goes nowhere, because we know that bullets in water don't really go too far. So that was kind of funny, but next thing we know, Winstone is apparently being pulled into the blades of the ferry boat, and apparently he dies. But this, I'm not sure. It seems to me that, if anything, the blade should be pushing him away if it's being propelled, if the boat's being propelled, but that's just one of the little quirks I found in here. Not really recommending it at this time. Here we got a Vampirella versus Purgatory. And ain't she a little she-devil? Some covers for that. It goes on. We are back at MI6 headquarters. James Bond's being debriefed by M and Moneypenny. As you can see, they have a different look to them in this that you're probably not used to. They decide to go undercover. They've been able to decipher the documents that were in Winstone's case, and apparently it's saying that he was going to meet up with a number one of Spectre. So he's going to go in his place and try to sneak in, which I thought was the plan, but then he comes in and kind of sneaks in and starts taking out all these guards very violently. It takes down about a half dozen of them in the scenes, which is, nicely drawn and everything. But here's the part that doesn't make sense to me. So the guy that he's trying to hunt down, this Stavro Bloodflow or something, um, is able to strangle him. But he's known for strangling people, this villain. So James Bond has a armor collar on, and so it doesn't go through. And they have a little bit of a fight, and his adversary actually gets the upper hand, then gives James Bond the gun, saying, well, I don't want to kill you. I want to hire you to do a special mission for me. Now, it's kind of weird that he lets 6 of his own people get killed, and, and then just expects James Bond to work for him. But it just, who knows what's going on with this. It's just a new writer. It is a comic book, so they probably haven't really thought that deeply into these things. He asked James to take out this woman who's apparently moving up in the Spectre ranks, and it is challenging him. And he doesn't want the blood on his hands because that could start an interorganizational warfare within Spectra. So he's asking James Bond to do it. He's kind of blackmailing him to it because he shows him, he's got a picture of James Bond's friend, a CIA agent apparently, that James Bond really trusts and would not like to see anything happen to him. So he tells him, if you do this, nothing will happen to him, and I'll give you like 15 million euro dollars. And then we get another ad for Vampirella, the Dark Powers, with their covers there. So they kind of go back and forth. Not a lot of action in here. James Bond at first isn't buying it. Then he thinks about it some more, and he agrees to become basically an agent or a contracted agent for Spectre and go ahead and assassinate this other woman. And they could see them shaking on it. So that's the end of the first issue. I believe it's a 5-issue. I don't know if it says in here or not. 5-issue run for this. Don't see it saying that, but I think it is a 5-issue run. So I'm thinking I might try one more on this run. So we'll be back for the next issue, see what happens on it. It just seems a little far-fetched that he would kill 6 people, and then this guy just says, oh, come work for me, just like that. So we'll see. Okay, so here's some more covers of things coming out next month. It says February 2021, but I actually picked this up in March. It's just we got it at my store this early March this week. And we've got Red Sonja, The Superpowers, issue 4. Sonja Versal, issue 3. I know there's a ton of different covers for both of these. There's with the James Bond, the 2nd issue of Spectre. Maybe this will come out in March as well. I'm not sure. And then we have Vampirella. Born in 1969, 50 years later, she hasn't aged one bit. Dare to be immortal. So that's issue number 20, coming out in April. It's a 50th anniversary issue for her. Then we have a Red Sonja, number 26. And Vengeance of Vampirella, number 17. That's coming out in April as well. And here you can take a look at some of the other covers. There's not a lot of difference in any of these. It's really tough. You have to really look closely to see the difference for the different variant covers. Not a lot. So I'm not sure how many my store ordered. Maybe he ordered 1 or 2 extra variants on this. But there's, like I said, there's not a lot to see. So I guess it's, I don't know. I'm not really super keen on it. I'm kind of lukewarm on this one. I'm going to check out the 2nd issue regardless. I can't really recommend it. I don't think it's the greatest story ever told, or even a really good one. So I would probably not do a recommend, but I will check out issue 2 to see if it does pick up. It's definitely better than the last arc of James Bond. So thank you for stopping by the Temple of Tomes. Please like, please subscribe. If you haven't, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.